Hello folks and welcome to Paddock Pass, your post-race edition for the 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. Woof! That was a race. That was a great race. If you haven't seen it, then I don't know why you're watching this, because I'm going to give away the results. But go and watch the highlights before you watch this, because they're worth it. And it's probably going to be quite a long highlights package, because an awful lot went on. Max Verstappen started from only his second career pole position, wanting to make amends for the win that he lost this time last year, and boy oh boy, he had to fight for it. A great battle throughout the race with Lewis Hamilton, different tyre strategies, safety cars. First one brought out because Valtteri Bottas's engine went, or it seemed it was his engine, went pop. The Ferrari drivers took each other out. Lewis Hamilton smashed into Alex Albon, and potentially, as we're recording this, the podium may yet change. But the one thing that isn't going to change is that guy did make amends for 2018. He took the win. He drove so sublimely today, absolutely out of his skin. Driver of the day? There's a lot of drivers on the grid today that would be in line for that mantle. The other one, well, one of the other ones, Pierre Gasly. After the season that he's had, starting off here on that side of the garage, going back to Toro Rosso after things didn't quite work out. He only got himself on the podium, holding off Lewis Hamilton wheel to wheel like that across the line. It was beautiful. And the roar that came out from everyone in this pit lane, from us in the media pen waiting to ask everybody the questions. Just joy for the guy, because he's such a great guy and he's had such a tough time of it this season. The Red Bull mechanics were celebrating with him, you know, and it could have been a 1-2 for the team, but it wasn't. But they didn't mind because they were just so happy for Pierre. It was lovely. Lewis third, but it could have been Carlos Sainz from last to fourth, that far. I think it's 2 seconds or something behind Lewis over the line. But Lewis right now, well, in 2 minutes' time, going to see the stewards about that moment with Alex Albon in the closing laps. Was it Lewis's fault? We put that to him. Here's your top three for the moment. Max Verstappen, overjoyed. Pierre Gasly, the feel-good story of the day. And Lewis Hamilton, will he, won't he, keep third? A phenomenal drive today, congratulations.
Yeah, it was good. Start was good. Then I think we did what we could in the first stint. Just caught out a bit with the traffic, and then the traffic in the pit lane as well, which almost took me out. But then from there onwards, I think Lewis was very, very quick, always thereabouts. I have to say, after the first stop, I think we were quite similar in pace. But then on the medium tire, the yellow one, he was again quite quick. But with the safety car and everything, we of course boxed again for the red tires, and I think at the end of the day, that gave us the win today. Of course, it was still a fun move around the outside with Lewis, but you can see it was very fair racing in turn 1 and in turn 4. So I really enjoyed that.
Some great fights. Was it as much fun as it looked?
It was, yeah. I mean, sometimes you would like to have a race where you just control it, but actually now after the race, I'm very happy that I had a race like this.
It could have been a 1-2 for the team. Alex obviously got hit towards the end, but to see Pierre there, obviously your teammate from the start of the year, how good was that for you and him to be up there? Yeah,
of course, a shame that Alex was not on the podium. Would have been a great result for Red Bull, but I'm also now very happy for Pierre. I mean, he's had a tough season. At the end, I think when he got back to Toro Rosso, he had good results already. But to see him on the podium now actually makes me really happy, because he really deserves it. He's a great guy, he's a great personality, and he's also a fast driver, as you can see.
I don't think you have any idea how loud the cheer was in this pen, from those grandstands, from seemingly every team in the pit lane. People are genuinely delighted for you today.
Thanks to all the people, to everyone, you know. Big thanks to Toro Rosso and Honda that just pushed me so hard since Spa. I pushed them so hard as well, to just told them we need to make the best out of every opportunities we have. And you know, today is my first podium in F1. You dream about being in F1, you dream about your first podium, but then when it happens, that's why I was shouting on the radio. I just had so many emotions, coming through me and coming through my mind. And just a massive thank you to all the people that supported me since I started my career to put me in that position. And today that's exactly why I love motorsport. For this kind of moment, it's just unbelievable.
You've said all year you don't forget how to drive, and you showed that today. Importantly though, the points that you've got for that podium drag you guys. You're like that with Renault now for fifth in the championship.
That podium brings us a lot of money, so it's still not over. We still need to push in Abu Dhabi, but if we manage to hold that position in the championship, why not get even better? But there was 10 millions between 7th and 6th in the championship, so I think we'll celebrate with friends tonight. Yeah.
What a drive, what an afternoon. So much action out there. Some great wheel-to-wheel stuff with Max, but let's start with the moment with Alex Albon. Obviously, at the end, how did you see it from inside the cockpit?
I mean, geez, it happened so fast, honestly, but I saw a gap and I kind of went for it, and it opened up more and more, and then it closed right at the end. So I don't really know. I'd have to rewatch it, but I ultimately I felt like I was in the wrong. Particularly as I'm coming from behind, I'm the one that hit him rather than him hit me. But I was giving it everything, and I left nothing on the table. And sometimes when you push that hard, I think I got the torpedo today. But I'll rewatch it, and most likely my opinion won't change on that, but it may do. And ultimately, I apologise immediately to him. He's been driving fantastically well, and of course, I never want to end someone's race.
I know it wouldn't be your intention, obviously, with that, but how much did it damage the car? How hard was it over those last few laps?
The steering was tilted to the right, but it was driving okay. It was a damn hard race today. I tell you, I gave it everything and more. There was nothing left. From the pit lane entry to the pit lane exit, there was just nothing left. I think I made one mistake with one small lock-up, I think, into turn one, but then otherwise it was pretty spot on. So, and obviously the one with Alex, but it was a race to be tested, to really push the boundaries on lots of areas, and to keep up with the Red Bull today. They were just so fast, and they killed us on the straights.
You had a great dice with Max on more than one occasion. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, ultimately, when you're the one being attacked and you've got nothing when it comes to power. But I think he's got a much fresher engine than me, or they've got, I don't know what it is, more power or whatever it is. But we're on I'm still on my season engine. Number 3 is where I think they're on number 5 or 6. So maybe they've updated theirs. We've had no upgrades since Spa or whatever it was. So nonetheless, I hope people enjoyed it today, and congratulations to Max.
If the stewards do decide to give you a penalty after the race, it would mean Carlos would take that podium spot, would have been his first podium. Would you do the thing and give him the trophy if indeed they were to give you a penalty?
I don't think I keep the trophy. I mean, I don't care to keep the trophy. I only care for about number 1, so you can have the trophy, if that's the case.
Alex, it was looking so good towards the end until those closing moments, and then it kind of all went wrong. Can you just talk me through it?
Yeah, to be honest, the start of the race I was a bit in no man's land, and then with the safety car we brought it back and had some fun on the restarts. It felt a bit like Baku again. But obviously Lewis had good grip when he pitted, and I think he would have got me, no matter what. He would have got me into turn 1 the next lap. So it was a shame. To be honest, I didn't even expect it. I was busy on the corner because I saw on the exit and there was a gap there, and I didn't think there was a move there. So anyway.
That guy right there. He's got a good shout at being driver of the day as well. P last to P4, maybe even P3. Stewards have been meeting for 5-6 minutes now with Lewis and Alex Albon. We may know by the end of recording this whether he should have been on his podium. Will they give it to him? Would he stand down there at the end of the day with nobody in the grandstands and have a lonely podium? Or will Lewis, we asked him the question, give him the trophy? Remember when Fisichella should have won this race in the Jordan, and then we went to Imola 2 weeks later and they gave him the trophy for the win. I mean, that was for the win, but it would have been his first podium. He drove beautifully. And that would be so painful if he actually missed out on his first podium. Anyway, we're going to speak to him. And Lando in the points. Lando had a really tough race, falling back through the field, but then the insanity at the end just brought it all together for him. So, double point score for McLaren. A great day for them after what was looking like a pretty difficult weekend. They had been struggling throughout to really attain the pace as best of the rest that they'd got themselves into this year. But are you on the? You got it. Is that confirmed? No, seriously. Oh, there you go. Is it confirmed? Okay, there we go. Apparently Carlos has got the podium. I should probably check this and just make sure Lee hasn't completely lost his mind. But that's what it means. These interviews are going to mean nothing now, but here's Carlos and here's Lando. Carlos, a phenomenal race. This is going to sound a bit odd, but Lewis has just admitted fault for the Albon incident, meaning that if he does get a penalty post-race, you should be up there right now.
Do the stewards know that Lewis admitted fault?
I mean, it was on the TV, so...
Yeah, I don't know, it's a difficult moment, obviously, to talk about everything because I'm just waiting, but at the same time, I must say that independently of the final result, the 5th, 3rd or 4th, to start last and come through the field like I did today, where every move I did, every defense move, every attack worked exactly how I wanted and the way I wanted was very special.
It was a phenomenal drive. How good did it feel?
Incredible, because every time I was attacking, there was an overtake. Every time I was defending, no one could go by in the safety car restarts with a very used tire and a cold tire. But somehow I managed, something to analyze, something to be happy about, and let's see how it goes.
I'm pretty sure if things change, we'll get a podium sorted for you in Abu Dhabi.
Let's see.
It was a long time today that it wasn't looking like it was going to be great, and then P8 and points.
I mean, it's good. As a team, we got a lot of points, which was our aim, and yeah, especially for Carlos coming from last to 4th, pretty good job by him. So, I know it was a good race. There was very good parts of it. Some positives and some negatives. The biggest one being the hard tyre stint in the middle. I just had zero pace.
Was it Mexico all over again?
No. Oh, you mean like Carlos's Mexico?
Yeah.
Maybe. I think it's something we need to look into more, because every time we box onto the hard, I mean, some tracks it works, but maybe this is the hardest tyre we have. It's the C1, so it can't get any worse, basically. It was a tough stint. I had no pace at all. So we got a bit lucky with the safety car. We boxed, we made a good call and got into the point, so from that side, it was one of a few positives, but I'm happy. It was a nice result for all of us.
Alfa Romeo had a difficult time of it since the summer break, particularly Kimi Räikkönen, who hadn't scored since we came back from the August break to Spa and Monza. Double points for them today, and in fact, as we've just found out at McLaren, Lewis Hamilton, a 5-second penalty, I believe drops him back behind both Räikkönen and Giovinazzi. So not just a double point score for them, I believe it should now be P4 and P5. Kimi, that was quite the end to the race.
Yeah, obviously a lot of things happened in the end. A bit disappointed. We had a speed, but the last set I had a bit too much understeer, especially tried to follow the McLaren. Couldn't get past. On the restart was twice close, but anyhow. At least we got points on 2 cars, and that's a much more positive end of the weekend than many others.
No, it was fantastic. I think the best things to celebrate for the renewal of the contract for next year. Really happy with the race, really good start, really good restart of the safety car. So really happy with the result.
It wasn't an easy day down at Renault, certainly not for Nico Hülkenberg. Struggled throughout the race, really sort of dropping back throughout. And yeah, never had the pace to compete, really. Whereas Daniel Ricciardo ended up in the points somehow, despite the fact that he biffed Kevin Magnussen in the early laps of the race, going for a move up the inside, received a penalty for that. But despite all of that, and despite tyre woes and difficulties, and the car really not being underneath him or where he wanted it to be all weekend, he did the Daniel Ricciardo thing and still came home in the points, which, with Pierre Gasly finishing on the podium and Daniel Kvyat also finishing in the points, is essential if Renault now, who were looking at fighting for 4th with McLaren, now want to hold on and try and keep 5th in the Constructors' Championship. It's nip and tuck with 1 race left. That was a very exciting, interesting race for you. I saw you apologise to Kevin as soon as you got into the pen, which was nice, and despite the penalty, you're still strongly in the points.
Yeah, all right, we'll start with the incident. I haven't seen a replay, and in the heat of the moment, heat of the battle, and also, to be honest, sitting as low as we do, you don't always see, how much room there was, this and that. Obviously, I hit him and he spun, so whether he squeezed me or not, I don't know yet, but I wanted to apologise, because if I'm in that position and someone hits me, I would expect the same. So I knew as soon as he spun, I was like, there's a chance Stewards will give me a penalty now. So I was obviously upset with myself, upset with the incident, but I think, to be honest, we kept our head down. Didn't expect to get up to 7th, but I think, we made it happen, and that part of the race was really strong. The penultimate restart was awesome. I think I got 3 cars, maybe on that lap. It was fun, it was cool, and so we can leave proud. Bit missed, but yeah.
You need those points as well for P7, because with Pierre on the podium today, 5th in the constructors is nowhere near bolted on.
Yeah, I guess Toro Rosso might be equal with us now or something. It's close.
It's very close. My maths isn't great, but I know it's close.
Yeah. So it was. From that I'm proud, because that penultimate restart got me these points today. And I feel that was kind of made that happen. So that was good. Obviously, without the incident, could have maybe been more. So I guess I lost the team a bit there, but I brought them back something. So we'll try to obviously do better. But I think the big thing at the beginning was the medium. That was a real surprise. We struggled a lot with that, and it looked like all medium cars were slow compared to the soft. So that was already, we were a bit on the back foot. And then, the incident with Kevin put us right back. But good recovery. We'll take it. And, move on from here.
After qualifying, we talked about Sergio Perez and how even when he's not qualifying in the top 10, he's pretty much always coming home in the top 10 of late. His race pace just sublime. And what did he do? Came home P9, just as he always seems to do. You can't keep him down. Lance retired a couple of laps before the end of the race, but for Sergio, just another brilliant run back to the points.
Yeah, it was very, very fun race with all safety cars in and out. It was a fantastic race. Unfortunately, we couldn't fight at all. We lacked so much speed on the straights today. We got overtaken very easily, and we couldn't fight back. So in the end, 2 points that we don't really deserve because we didn't have the pace. But it was a chaotic race. We were there at the end, but very disappointed. We couldn't fight today.
Music's booming down at Toro Rosso. Of course, Pierre Gasly on the podium, Danny Kvyat crucially in the points as well in P10. An amazing weekend for Toro Rosso as they look at potentially their best ever season result in the Constructors' Championship.
I had a decent safety car restart. I managed to overtake 3 people on the last lap, so it was good. But until then the race was difficult. At least 1 point out of this struggle, let's put it this way.
And your teammate on the podium, both Toro Rosso drivers getting to the podium this year, an amazing result for the team.
Yeah, fantastic. Congrats to him and to the whole team. It's 2 podiums already this year for the team, so great. And I think we can now, I don't know where where Racing Points finished, but I think behind
1 in 10. Perez was 9th at the end.
So I think we can grab that 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. So I think it's great.
After an incredibly difficult season, qualifying for Haas saw both cars in the top 10. It was a tremendous turnaround with what was essentially the Melbourne spec car. Would it all come undone in the race? The drivers expected it to just fall apart. And certainly as the race began and they started to tumble back through the order, you sort of looked at it and thought, oh, not again. It's just not fair. And then K-Mag got hit by Daniel Ricciardo, and you're like, well, that's just perfect, isn't it? Can they not catch a break? And then the insanity at the end, and Kevin's 1 place out of the point. They deserved something out of this race because it just all seemed to be turning around for them, but just outside the points, massively disappointing. But crucially, I think they're starting to understand the car, and that is so important for 2020. Could have done without getting hit.
Yeah, of course, but it kind of came back to us in the end with the safety car. I just didn't have what it took on the restarts to hang on to it. I've really struggled behind other cars, and especially when you have all the cars together, really difficult. And turn 12 especially, which is the most crucial place on the track leading onto the back straight, I just wasn't strong enough, so I got overtaken and missed out on the points by one place, which doesn't feel good.
On a day like this, It's a day where anything can happen and anybody can score points, but it didn't quite work out for Williams. That said, George Russell wasn't that far off. P13 for him at the checkered flag, agonisingly close, but the car just didn't have the pace to compete, sadly, today. Robert Kubica, P16. A tough afternoon for Williams, even amongst all the insanity, but another double finish for the squad at least.
It was quite a long, lonely race to start with, and then suddenly it all was kicking off in front. I mean, gave it our everything to try and salvage anything we could or overtake somebody, but I mean, everybody's pace while they were battling was our pace when we were going flat out. So, I mean, like I said, we did the maximum we could, and that is just how it is.
Could have been a podium for these lot today. Should have been a podium for these lot today. Could have been fighting for the race win. The pace wasn't great in the race, but they were fighting. Charles Leclerc was making up for his 10-place grid penalty for the engine change, and they were coming through together to fight for that podium place in those closing laps on the good tyre. It was all looking brilliant. Charles, whoom, up the inside of Seb, down there at turn 1, and then did he give him enough space to get through? Seemingly, Seb got through, and then jink left. And as he came across to the left, or did Charles jink to the right? You need to see the onboards really to get a full impression of what happened. Either way, 2 into 1 did not go. Contact. Leclerc's wheel done. Seb's flat. That's it. Game over. Both Ferraris out of the race. It is not. Oh, here we go, Steve. They're coming back. It is not the first time that there have been issues between these guys this year. They are going to have to explain themselves to their team boss, to all of the boys and girls at Ferrari that have worked to put those cars on the track. Somebody suggested perhaps the best thing they can do right now is go back to Maranello and stand in front of the factory and explain their actions, because that kind of thing cannot happen. Solemn faces down here at Ferrari. Neither Charles Leclerc nor Sebastian Vettel seeing the checkered flag, and it's all their fault.
Very disappointed. On one hand, it was a great race before that, but yeah, I can only remember what happened at the end, so very disappointed today.
Talk us through the incident. You made a great move down through into turn 1, and then when did you feel the hit?
Then I think I left a small space for Seb then on the outside. Well, actually I thought he would go on the inside, but he went on the outside, and I was aware he was on the outside. I kept my line, and then we've had a contact a little bit later on. We still need to analyse it, but from the car, that's how I saw things.
I know it's fresh, but your thoughts at the moment on the incident?
Just disappointed at the moment.
Should have been a podium today. Talk us through the incident that ended both your races.
Well, I think the point is that it ended both our races, so obviously that's bitter for the team.
Do you think you were left enough room to get by?
Yeah.
So that is your lot from Paddock Pass. The breakdown, the pack up already in full swing. One race to go in 2019. Can't believe it. What a year. And what a race. What an afternoon. Max Verstappen making amends for 2018 with a brilliant drive. Pierre Gasly, I think everybody in this paddock is delighted for him. And equally gutted for Carlos Sainz, because he's got his first Formula 1 podium. Let's not get run over, Steve. He's got his first Formula 1 podium, but he didn't get to celebrate it at the time. I think they're going to try and give him one here before we all leave, so that he can at least taste the champagne, celebrate with his team before we get on the aeroplane to fly home back to the UK. What a crazy end to a crazy day. This place always provides brilliant races, and there's something about this place. It's wonderful. It's magic. Just adore coming to Brazil for this race. As I said, one there, one left. That's it. And then 2019 is over. Who will win in Abu Dhabi? Heaven only knows. It's been a great weekend. Thanks for following along, folks, and we will see you next time.